Everyone, sorry to hear noise in the background. That is Isabel watching Hello Neighbor, like videos on YouTube. She's obsessed. Okay, guys, I have to do the video. It's been like so long, like probably like a little over a week that I posted a video. Now, this is too loud, Isabel. Nope. Since I posted a video, lately I haven't even been putting any makeup on, guys. I've been just like relaxed, letting my face breathe, not putting anything on. Yeah, that's it. My birthday's coming up Tuesday, which I am excited. That means I am going to be picking a winner. Oh my god, sorry, this hair, like I'm gonna be picking a winner for the next giveaway, so stay tuned for that. I'm excited. Thank you guys for who subscribed to my channel. I got new subscribers. Hopefully you stay for the ride, because there was like an issue in my last giveaway, like big issue. But this time I don't want any issues. I don't want, unsubscribe to me because I didn't pick you. Remember, every month I am going to be picking a winner as a thank you for subscribing to, oh my god, my hair, like I'm looking at myself and it's like severely bad. Just as a thank you for subscribing to my channel, and just enjoying what I want, like what I put out there, and just, Isabel, I see you. So yeah, it's gonna be an every month thing. I will be doing a giveaway. It'll be something small, it can be something big, it can be a surprise, yeah, that's how it's gonna be. So this video right here, it's a video that I want to do. This is the birth, my birth experience. I think I'm gonna title this video like my birth experience with Isabel. It was a lot, guys. So let's go back to the beginning. Yeah, there was a question out there. What was the question? How long me and my husband been married? Well, we're not married. We're only engaged. But I do call him my husband, so you'll probably hear that. We've been together for 6 years, so I really don't consider him as like my fiance. I tell everyone my husband. That's just how that's how I say it. But we've been together for 6 years, but we known each other more than 6 years. But boyfriend, girlfriend, 6 years. But yeah, in the beginning, I wanted to have a baby. I did. And me looking at my siblings, they all had children at a young age. And me, I'm going to be 28 in May 21st. And Isabel's gonna be 5, so you can do the math. I was in my early 20s when I had Isabel, so that's young, but that's not young. My siblings had kids when they were in their teens, like that type of young. So I wanted to have a kid, especially with him. I wanted to have a kid, so we planned to have a kid, and it was not an easy ride for me because we tried, and I wasn't, TMI, I wasn't getting my period. And I was like, me consistent before having Isabel, I will always get it every month. And me trying, I wasn't getting it at all. But then again, I wasn't pregnant because how many tests I took? So many tests, and it all came out negative. And I'm like, what's going on? And it was like probably like 3 months without me getting it, and I wasn't on birth control or nothing like that. And I'm like, wait, there's something wrong. I'm not pregnant. We're trying, but why am I getting it? And yeah, it was not cool. And then I finally got it after a few months, which it was so weird to me. And then I saw online, like, okay, you have to try within like a certain amount of days after you get your period, like when your period finished, I believe. So then when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, we're kind of doing it wrong. So I did it like on track, and boom, I got pregnant. And I found out I was pregnant on Thanksgiving. We went to John's mom's house to celebrate Thanksgiving, and coming back, he was like, we should get like a pregnancy test. So we went to CVS, and we got a pregnancy test, and I got the clear blue, I think it is, the one that actually says pregnant or not pregnant. And I got that one, even though that's very pricey, but I got that one because that's good for people who something they're hearing, like, I don't know how to explain it. When something is low and it can't kind of detect with like another pregnancy test, that one is a good one to like pick it up, So I was like, okay, fine. Like, I don't think I'm pregnant, but I mean, hey, it was really priced, like $20 something for that. So I'm like, fine, just get it. And took the test. We went straight to my room, and if I was pregnant, I was gonna keep it from everyone, like a secret, until like maybe if I had like an ultrasound picture, as a surprise. But that didn't work out. That was a fail. I went to the bathroom, stick the test in, and I remember right now I put it in my window like there, and I'm like, okay, and then we're waiting. We kind of went over the time because we were like kind of like nervous. I was scared, even though I wanted a kid, but I was like kind of freaked out. And then when I picked it up, John was behind me, and when I picked it up and it said pregnant, and it said 3/5, meaning weeks, and I was like, that's just, it's crazy. I've been pregnant for a while, but then again, like, I take pregnancy tests and it wasn't coming out that I was pregnant. I was just like, no, like, that's crazy. And when I saw it, like, I just busted down crying, and I turned to him, and he thought like I was probably playing with him. I would never play not with that, not in that sense. I would not play, because he really wanted a kid, and he don't have kids. So when I started crying, and like he started crying, we just hugged each other, and I was like severely crying, and then boom, 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 my mom knocks on the door, and I'm like, she sees me crying, and she was like, what happened? Like, real quick, she doesn't like to see her kids cry, and especially, she came in thinking that we were breaking up. That's crazy, though. That's so crazy how she thought that it probably was in that sense. And I'm like, what gives you that? Like, breaking up. And she started crying. She was like happy for me, like hugging us. And then a knock again, and my sister came, and she comes in seeing all three of us crying. She's like, who died? Like, who died? Like, why are we crying? She's looking in the room like, what's going on? And she saw the pregnancy test, and she was like, oh my God. She hugged us, was like excited, and then another knock on the door. It was like, I guess everyone felt something was going on, because now this is my sister's friend, and she comes in and she's like, what's going on here? And then she hugged us like, congratulations, like, you know. But I didn't tell anyone. There was family members here because it was, you know, Thanksgiving, and there were still a lot of people here, like my uncle and stuff like that. I didn't tell anyone because it's so soon. You never know. That's why they said never to tell anyone you're pregnant until like 3 months, because that's like the mark. So the next day, I was like, I'm gonna go to the ER, because for a while I was getting pains, like on the sides of my, like in the middle, but like on the sides of my stomach. And I wasn't sure. It's like a shooting pain that comes and goes. And I went, and they diagnosed me like as like constipation. So they gave me pills for that. And then they thought that I was pregnant. And I was like, I'm pregnant. And they're like, you're pregnant. And I was like, okay, because I just found out I was yesterday. That's why I'm here, to make sure the pain is not gonna do any harm to the baby. So they took me to do like a ultrasound, but this is not just any ordinary ultrasound that they put like on top of your stomach. You know, they shove something in. That's more the clear, you know, you can see your insides with that. And then, you know, she kept on like checking. She like, you're pregnant? And I'm like, yeah. For her to tell me you're pregnant and like looking, and I'm like, you don't see a baby in there? She didn't show me anything, and I'm like, maybe I'm too soon. It's too early. And I was like, yeah, I took a test yesterday, and it said like I'll probably like from 3 to 5, or I think 2 to 3, something like that. I think it was 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm like, I took a test, and it said I am. That's why I'm here. And she kept on, and I was like looking, and like I didn't see anything. You know, you can kind of see something, but I didn't see anything there. And I started freaking out. I was like, you know, and then we went back. I went back to the ER, like to the other side, and the doctor who was taking care of him, like, I'm pregnant, right? He was like, yeah, you are. I'm like, because she seemed like, you know, she was asking me, are you sure you're pregnant? Like, you know, I was freaking. I was like, no, you're pregnant. And I'm like, okay. And then they set me an appointment to the women's like health center. That's like pretty much for GYN and for people who are pregnant. Go there. So I remember I went, and they did, I think they did a regular ultrasound as well, and they didn't see anything at all. And it freaked me out because they said I was probably gonna have a chemical pregnancy, which that's when the baby is like in the tube and I can have a miscarriage. And I didn't know what that was, you know. Then he explained, and I was like freaking out. So they draw blood, because the only way you can see if you're pregnant is like with your, I think, your hormone levels. If it's just like, just say 100 and it goes up to 1,000, you're pregnant. So he was like, that's the way we can definitely for sure detect that you are. And they did the blood, and the next appointment to see the results were like in a week and a half. So imagine that timing. I was freaking out. Like, I was severely scared. And I'm like, oh my God, what if I'm not pregnant and we're telling people already and everyone, like, or I have a miscarriage? That's something I was really freaking out about. And we went, and the doctor was like, he was like, so the last time, and you see, this is what drives me, because a doctor's like so serious and you think the worst. And he was like, well, the last time you came, and I'm like looking at his face, and I'm like real quick panicking. And he was like, the last time your levels were at this, and then no, how it was. From the ER, it was this. And then we took blood from the time you came to see him. When I came to see him, it was this. And it went up so much. And he was like, you are pregnant. And then that's when the process started. Then he started asking, are you going to keep the baby? I'm like, of course. And they asked the question if the baby was born with Down syndrome or sick, or you find out, are you going to still keep the baby? And I'm like, of course, And then you have to go and see like a few other people, like that day. You see like someone, like, I don't know, like a counselor, like she talks to you and stuff, like, and then you see your actual like doctor, and it was a female, and then like she gets to know you. And I was supposed to see someone with like food, like they would teach me what I should eat or not, but she wasn't there. Yeah, it was a lot. So yeah, and then my next appointment was later on, and that's the time that they were gonna do an ultrasound, and I saw Isabel. I saw the baby. She was like, I mean, you can't really see her face. She was really tiny, but but it was a scary thing to know in the beginning. Like, the problem is, I went to the hospital too soon. I found out right there I was pregnant. I wasn't pregnant like a week and a half ago, and I'm pregnant now. I should have not went. That's the issue, because of course they're really not gonna see something. They're gonna detect with your blood. But everyone's different. I'm just going about with my experience and what they told me. And they also said trying to have a baby and you're not getting your period and you're not pregnant, that can happen as well. So yeah, maybe you're pregnant, pretty much I didn't have any cravings. The only thing I wanted was ice, and the ice from the hospital, because it's like ice chips and it melts in your mouth, and it's just, and I would make my own at home. Yeah, that was something, but mainly like food wise, no, I would eat everything. I didn't have any morning sickness, thank God, like throughout. The only thing, I did had was, well, you can't really consider it morning sickness. You can consider it like nausea, kind of, because sometimes I'm like so hyped, like, yeah, I'm gonna eat some ribs, and I'm preparing and I'm smelling, I'm like, yeah. But when I put it in my plate and I'm like, and I'm about to eat, and I'm like, you know how much food, like, I couldn't eat, like, it went to waste But I'm like, man, that sucks. Because I'm so excited to eat this. And then I'm looking at it on my plate and I'm like, I can't. I can't. I can't eat this. No, 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 no. And I just feel it in my, like, right here. Like, I can't eat this. I can't. That was the only issue that I had. But she was a very active baby. She used to kick so much. And it hurt. Like, you felt like, oh. Yeah, that was pretty much it through the pregnancy. I had a really, really good pregnancy. For it to be my first pregnancy, I handled it well. The beginning was scary, of course. For me, it was severely scary. But me being pregnant, you know, I gained so much weight. I went from 135, I believe, 135, if I'm not mistaken, to almost 200 pounds. Almost 200 pounds. I was right at 190 something. And that was towards the end, like the last month. Usually they say the last month, every week, that's when you're gonna gain because of her. Like, she's, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go over 200. And I gained a lot of weight. I didn't get in trouble for it. Usually a lot of pregnant women your doctor will be like, you need to cut it or you need to get on a little diet. While being pregnant, she would just told me like, oh look, you're gaining weight, but you're pregnant. You're eating for two. I was eating for two, but kind of I was like eating for four, really. But yeah, I was eating a lot. My mom would get me like every other day pepper steak with white rice in the Chinese, but not the plate. I would get the large, so they would give me like a container filled with all the sauce, onions, bell peppers, and the pepper steak, you know, in the big container, and then a small rice. I would eat that whole thing by myself. The whole thing, guys. Like, I was a beast when it came to eating when I was pregnant, and I enjoyed it, and I took advantage of it. And I would eat so much, and my stomach was just like out there. It was out there, and the doctors were like, probably it's like a lot of water you have, you know, the baby, a lot of water, and that also too would give you a lot of pounds as well. But she was a really active baby, and I'm like, she's probably all baby. I doubt it's water, you know. But I would eat so much, guys, that I took advantage of being pregnant because of that. I was saying I'm eating for two. Hello. But of course I had to be careful of, you know, I have diabetes runs in my family. So they did the test on me, that you have to drink something, and then you got to they take your blood. You're not supposed to eat nothing besides drinking that. And since I have families who have that, I had to do a 3-hour one. You drink, you come back in an hour, you take blood, you drink, you come back in an hour and take blood, boom and boom. That's it. For 3 hours, guys. That was so bad for me because I'm hungry when I wake up. I'm starving, you know, and not being able to eat for 3 hours, it was really, really bad. And then I came back to my doctor to get the results, and she was like, she doesn't like the numbers. And I'm like, what? She didn't rule me that I had diabetes. She was like, you know, there's three categories of numbers, and one of them she didn't like out of the three. And I'm like, she was like, we gotta do it again. And I'm like, no, like, yeah. Sorry, guys. Where was I at? You see? Okay, so she said we have to do it again. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to do it again. So I had to do the whole process again, but like in a week. And when I came back, the numbers were fine. She like, perfect. That's what I wanted to see. But yeah, I had to do that because, I have family who have diabetes. Like my mom, my dad had diabetes. So I had to do that. So yeah, me being pregnant was amazing. I can't say everyone who has their first kid is gonna be like that. I cannot say that. I would like to know your like birth experience, and the whole thing while giving birth, while you was pregnant, like what was your craving? Did you have any morning sickness or night sickness or whole day? Because there's people like that. I would like to know. But yeah, like my pregnancy was great. And the time that I was in labor, guys, we're gonna get to it. I was terrified. Her birthday is August 3rd, but my due date was August 6th. That was, I don't even know. I think that's a Sunday. I don't know. The Sunday I went in and I had her, like, it was 12:59 a.m. I had her, like, that night, I remember I was terrified because that Friday I went in and my doctor, she split like the membrane. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. The bag, like a layer of the bag. So by doing that, like in a few days, you can go into labor by her doing that. That's just like a boost she's giving you. And after she did that, she checked me and I was 2 centimeters already dilated. And she said, it can be next week. Doesn't mean it has to. I was terrified. I was like, I cannot move. We can't go nowhere. We got to stay home because what if tonight I go into labor? And she was like, no, it's not going to be today or tomorrow. So that was a Friday. So it wasn't going to be Friday or Saturday, she said. And Sunday, I woke up with this pain. But throughout the pregnancy, as you're getting bigger and bigger, you are going to start feeling pain because of the movement. And I will always feel like sometimes crampiness because she was just stretched. And I'm like, oh, like stop moving for a second because it hurts. And this pain right here was not a normal pain. Like, it felt so bad. And I was feeling it in my lower back. And it felt like it was mainly in my lower back, but it felt like it was like a vibration that was kind of coming to the lower abdominal, not all the way, because I was mainly like this, like, oh, my back. And I woke up early, like probably like 8 in the morning, and I'm just walking, I'm pacing myself. John is sleeping, my mom is sleeping. And I'm not going to wake no one up because, you can get the Braxton Hicks contractions. I think I'm saying it right. Those are false contractions. So I'm like, maybe I'm getting that. It's not yet. So I started timing when that sharp pain would come and for how long. And it was going from 5 minutes. Wait, it was like starting from like probably like 7 or so minutes, and then it was going to 5 minutes, and it stood there for a while because I remember I was walking in my apartment like back and forth, just not waking no one up, Then when it got to under 5 minutes, it was like it wasn't giving me a break. Like it wasn't giving me a break to breathe. And I started crying. I was like, no, this is it. I'm going into labor. This is it. And I was just in so much pain. And I'm thinking about it now. Like, I woke up like this. I wonder if I was in pain while I was sleeping. You know, having contractions while I was sleeping. But I was just done, you know, knocked out, that I didn't notice. And I was crying. I was in the bathroom crying, and I remember I had the door closed. I didn't want to wake no one up, and if I was going into labor, I didn't want to jump to the hospital, like go to the hospital quick. You know, you can't do that until you feel like it's time. But then again, you don't want to go too late. My hospital is a block away. Sorry. It's a block away. So, you know, I was fine. So I remember I was in the hospital. I was in the bathroom, and John knocks, boom, boom, boom. He knocks on the door. I wasn't making noise. He probably felt like, you know, that I was crying, and something woke him up. And he comes, and I was like, I think it's time. And he was like, what? And good thing it was a Sunday, and he's off on the weekend. And he was afraid that I was going to go into labor while he was working. That was something he was so afraid of, because he didn't want to miss the birth. And I thank God that it happened on a Sunday, because he took his week off. He took a week off to stay with me. So Sunday came, and that happened, and he's like, what? Like, wake up your mom. And I went to my mom's room, and she saw me crying. I think I'm going into labor. Like, I'm going into labor. And she got up quick, got dressed, and she called my sister. My sister has 3 kids, you know. My mom doesn't, I guess maybe doesn't remember, because she has 4 kids, my mom, and so long ago, you know. So she called my sister, and she's like, probably those are like the fake contractions. I was like, no, it's not fake. Like, it was hard for me to walk. Like, I was stopping. Like, if something was pulling me, like, I couldn't walk. So I remember I went, I grabbed my bag, my baby bag. I was ready. Grabbed the baby bag. So I'm like, I know I'm going to stay. Grabbed that. And we just left. I went comfortable, you know. I think I was wearing like a dress or something. Comfortable. And I went there, and I was just stopping like the whole time walking, because I was just in so much pain. We went straight upstairs, and I had to fill out like a form, and then they put me in a room, and they checked me, and she was like, oh, you're not going nowhere. I think I was 5 or 6 centimeters dilated. She's like, you're not going nowhere. And I was like, that's when it all kicked in, like my face like changed, and I was like, oh snap, she's coming here today, you know. That's when I thought she was coming at that, you know, within a few hours. Because if they said 5, it's like 5, 6, I'm like, okay, you gotta get to 10 quick. And I'm like, oh wow, like I was dilated 2 centimeters Friday when she checked me after she split the membrane thing. And then, you know, throughout the weekend, I was like opening up. But me waking up with the pain, I'm thinking about like that night, I must have had so much pain, but I didn't. No, I was sleeping. So we got to the hospital, whatever. We did all that. They checked me. Yeah, baby. And then they strapped the thing to hear the baby heartbeat, and they put that needle right there in your hand, um, just to have it ready. Yeah, they just had everything ready, and I had to actually wait there for a while for a room, um, until they like transfer me to the other room. And then once they put me in the room, it was a really big room, and I was like, okay. The only thing that was the issue was that band that they put around you with the heartbeat, because they have, to hear the heartbeat, they had to leave it there. And I was like trying to fix myself. When I would try, that would move and it would signal them. So they would come in here, like in the room, like, what's going on? I'm like, no, it moved. So they had to always adjust, and that's the worst part, was that band. Didn't like it. And I was like, the whole time my back, and I see movies and I see videos of people, they letting you get up and letting you walk around the hospital and letting you like, stretch to like kind of, dilate quicker. No, they told me I can't get up, not even to pee or use the bathroom. They had to stick, that catheter inside me, so in case I have to pee, like, it's in a bag. And I was like, that's so dumb. Like, is it because it's my first kid? That's what I was thinking. So when I went in, I was having so much pain, and they asked me if I wanted the epidural, and I said no. Like, I really wanted to do it without that. I was very far along, and I was like, I just need a little bit more. I think I can hold it. So they give that liquid in the IV to start, the contractions, to hurry up so the baby can come quicker. And then I was just feeling so much, and I'm looking at the monitor, and I can see, when the thing goes up, that's when your contraction is coming. And I see it going like this, and then I about to see it going up, and I'm just bracing myself because all the pain, guys, was in my lower back. Like, good thing it wasn't in my front or both. It was just in my lower back, and mind you, I can't move, because of that thing on my belly. So I'm like, oh my god, it was so bad. And then they gave me medication that it's gonna relax me. The pain is gonna just relax. You would kind of feel it, but it's gonna relax. And I actually fell asleep. And I remember John was like terrified because they said when she wakes up, she's gonna be in a lot of pain. And he was just like, oh my god, like, he was so worried and scared. He never experienced this, and I've never. So he was scared. And I remember just waking up into so much pain, and I was just crying like the whole time. Like, it was just, I couldn't anymore. And they kept on checking me, and I was still the same. And hours go by. I was hungry. You cannot eat, you can only eat ice. I remember the lady came in again, the nurse. She was like, you gonna get the epidural? And I'm like, no. And she like explained to me why not, you don't want it. They really want to give people that. And I was like, I want to see if I can do it on my own naturally. Like, and she was like, listen, you have to get this. You're in so much pain. Like, that when it comes time to pushing, you're not going to have the energy to push. All the crying I'm doing, and like, my body is exhausting itself. Like, oh, like, so I got it. I got the epidural, and I was so scared. They kicked everyone out. My sister was there, John and my mom. They kicked them out. They told them they have to leave. And it was just the guy who does it and the nurse. And I'm just like at the edge of the bed, like in so much pain. like holding on, and she's just holding me from the sides, making sure I don't flinch or anything. Because if you do that, and he put tape. I remember I felt tape, and then he cleaned. No, I think he cleaned me first, and he put the tape, and then he stick, and it's in your spine, you know. And I felt like a pinch, like if someone pinched me so hard. And then I felt like something dropped, but like in me, like I'm assuming that was liquid. And then when he finished, he put more tape on top of, I guess, the string, you know, the needle. And once I lay down, he was like, relax yourself. And then he put a syringe inside, you know, a needle or I don't know. And when he put when I saw the liquid, like from here going, I just felt like ice cold water, like if it was just dumping on my back. And it felt like a relief. And it was like an instant, no pain. And I was like, oh snap, I should have got this thing on, like in the beginning. And I'm like, oh. But I was so afraid that I wasn't gonna feel anything. I kind of wanted to feel like her coming out. They say you would get numb from the waist down. You would not feel nothing. You won't even feel the baby coming out. You won't even know the baby came out. And I was like, oh. So, you know, the day is going. It's getting nighttime. Mind you, it was Sunday. And they came and checked me. They switched doctors. And the nurse came and checked me, and she was like, okay, you're 9 centimeters. And she was like, we can push. And I remember when she said, let's push together, I was like, oh snap, like it's time. And mind you, it was, you know, you can only have 2 people. You got the dad, and you can have someone else. And my sister was there also. So it was 3 people in the room. It was a big room. You're not supposed to. They would say just 2. So my sister was like in a corner. Like my mom would like blend into the wall, kind of. Like, don't let them see you. Don't make a noise. And she was just there sitting down while, you know, my mom is on one side, John's the other. And I'm pushing with the nurse. And I'm pushing. And then they said something, oh, look, grandma, look the hair, like you can kind of see the top of her head. And I'm like, and they were like, okay, we're gonna call a doctor. The doctor's gonna come in now. And I guess they paged, like, it's time, like, come in. And I put my feet down, and I'm just, you know, covered up. And without them knowing, I was actually pushing without them knowing, like to kind of make it more easier for me when it was actually time to push. So when they came in, you know, it was like an instant thing, because when the doctor came in, that's when I had the urge to push. And they always say, how would you know? It's like if you have to use the bathroom, number 2. When you get that urge, like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. That type of urge that you feel like is coming out from back there. That's the urge that I got. And I'm like, oh, snap. It feels like I gotta go to the bathroom. They were like, no, that's the baby. Wait. The doctor was coming in, and they actually had to break the bed because it's a big bed, and they had to cut it in half. And then there were other people. I felt like it was like no more than like 15 workers in that room. You know, they were all getting ready with everything. And I was like, oh snap, everyone's gonna see me down there. And I guess because it's my first, you never know what can happen. Anything can happen after you give birth. It's not like give birth and it's a smooth sail ride. No, it's not. Like anything can happen. Anything. the baby can come out and boom, something can happen to me. So there was so many people there, and I remember I'm pushing, and I probably pushed like 3 times, no lie, because remember, I was already pushing with the nurse, and I was pushing on my own. So when it came with the doctor, she was like, I want you to push hard, and I pushed, and then it was just opening, I felt pressure down there. So I wasn't all the way numb. I was numb from the pain, but I was kind of still feeling like when the contractions were coming, but they wasn't so severe. So I pushed, and then remember, my sister's not supposed to be there. So the doctor was like, oh, you're the sister? Okay, come here, I need you to help. And my sister wasn't trying to plan on being in the mix of trying to help. She was just there sitting down trying to blend into the wall. So, she was right here. John was staying close to my face. He wasn't trying to see really much. My sister was in one leg, my mom was in the other. And, I pushed, and I told them, I told the doctor she was so nice. She was so nice. I told her, I'm when she comes out a little bit, I want to grab her. And she was like, of course, yeah, grab her. And I remember, it was her head came out, and that was just a relief, because she got a big head. So it was a relief, and when she did that, they were she was signaling, the doctor was signaling a cold because she cut me. And I was bleeding like crazy. So she had to put pressure and then turn Isabel. And she came out a little bit, up to her chest area. And then I grabbed her, and they adjusted me to grab her right. And then I put her right on me. It felt so great. It felt such a relief of her coming out. A relief. And then they cleaned her up top of me, and then they took her away. And I remember I'm there seeing her, and then I had a mask on because my levels of something was going down for me, so they had to put that oxygen thing on me. They took that out, and then they were taking out the placenta. She was squeezing down, but not so hard. My sister said hers was so bad because it kind of got stuck. So they were squeezing. Imagine you have that baby in you for 9 months, turning. It's it's doing damage in there already. And then for someone to come and just squeeze, you're so delicate and so fragile in there. Anything will hurt. You have to heal. So they doing that. That wasn't a joke. But she wasn't doing in my lower abdominal, she was pressing down, and it came out, and then she's counting because if it comes out in pieces, she counts. And then there was one stuck, and then she grabbed it, and then I had to have stitches because she cut me. I don't even know how many stitches I got. I don't, because she was down there for a really long time, just sewing me up. Then I see Isabel, and she weighed 8 pounds, 4 ounces. And they were it's so crazy. This is your first kid, and she weighs this much. Imagine your second. The second kid could weigh more, they said. And I was like, don't say that. Don't tell me that. But yeah, it was just amazing, and just having her, and her looking at me, and it was just so nice. It was very nice. It was very touching. And then that whole day, I gave birth at 12:59 a.m. So it was that day, but nighttime. So I think I left the hospital Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, because they keep you for like 2 days. But like after you giving birth, that's how they do it. But since I gave birth to her pretty much the next day for them, so yeah, I left like Wednesday. And I had my room, you know, you sharing with someone. And I felt bad because it was just a bed for me and a chair. And they told John, you know, you can stay. Through the 3 days, you know, those days there. And that night, I didn't sleep at all. That whole night, I didn't sleep. I was just with her, just making sure. And I told John, you sleep. Like, I got home. It was like quick, a mommy instant, like a mommy duty. Like, if I'm a pro at this already. You know, I changed her diapers, feeding her. I was trying to breastfeed, but nothing was coming out. Like, nothing was coming out. My boobs wasn't even hard. Like, you can tell when there's milk, nothing. I was trying. They were like, just have her latch on. And I'm like, but she's not drinking nothing. Like, how can I do that if she's not drinking anything? You know? And then they would give like the little formula bottles. And I would always feed her, you know, keep having her my boob. People would come in like to do the birth certificate, like to fill out. Me and John fill out paper, all this stuff. I got rest, I think the next day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that my mom came and she was like, okay, John, go home. I'm here with Erica. Go home. I'm going to stay with the baby, and I'm going to have her take a little nap as well. Me. So John was like, you sure? And he was like, baby, sure? I'm like, yes, go. Like, you need to get rest because he's trying to sleep on a chair. You know, and it's not the one that goes back. It's a regular chair, and I know that's really uncomfortable for him. So, you know, he left. You know, and he didn't even sleep, he said. He was just there laying down, relaxing, but couldn't sleep. And I took a little nap. And I remember I woke up. The room is dark. Like, not all the way dark, but it's a little dark. And the baby is supposed in her little thing, wrapped up. And my mom's not there. I'm like, don't tell me she left and didn't wake me up. And left the baby sleeping. And I remember calling her, and she comes in. She's like, I'm here, I'm just outside. But yeah, she was with the baby. And yeah, my sister came. She brought the kids, Jeremiah and Chris, because they were a little bigger. They were able to still come. Yeah, 5. Yeah, they were a little bigger. They came. Elijah was still a baby. I don't even think he wasn't even 1 yet, so he couldn't come upstairs. But yeah, it was very cool. It was a really good. Then going home, guys, it was the best because when it was time to go home, there was a lady came to the room, and she was like, I want you to come, go to the room, to like a, you know, like a room that it's an open area. All the mommies who is going home, you gotta do that class first. It's a class, like a 30-minute thing, and you're with your baby, and then you gotta fill something out, and then they're like doctors that comes in. You see a video, and then they come in, they start talking to you, and you can ask all the questions you need to ask. And then when you leave, they give you a book bag of the hospital name and little things inside for the baby and for me. And that was it. Once I went inside the room, all you have to wait is for the nurse to come in, and you're being discharged. Like, you're done. You sign, you're done. And then they give me my prescriptions, because since I was still having pain, they gotta give you something for the pain. So I was ready. I was out. I want to leave this hospital already. So we left and we came home. It was like such a relief for me because I was like, oh yes, I get to sleep in my bed, my own bed. You know, not the hospital bed. It's like mad hard. And then I had Isabel, me and her laying down in the bed. You know, it was just so cute, like my baby. But it was such a relief. As soon as we came home, we both took a nap. Me and John, we fell out. We fell out. Isabel fell asleep. I gave her a bottle. She fell asleep, and she did good when it came to sleeping. She wasn't waking up every hour. She was probably waking up like every 3 hours for a bottle. And I wasn't planning on waking her up if she was going to sleep longer than that, because they normally say, oh, like every 2 hours, 3 hours, wake them up even if they don't wake up. And I'm like, why would I do that? She's sleeping. That's like someone saying I have to eat every 2 hours, wake me up so I can eat. I'm sleeping. Your body will automatically wake itself up when it's hungry. Like, I'm not doing that. So, yeah, I would wake up. She was in the crib because, you know, she was sleeping in our room. She was in the crib, and then I had like a bassinet in the living room. Whenever I want to be in the living room, or if I have to cook or something, I'll keep her over there, closer to me. But yeah. It was very smooth for me. She was a good baby. At nighttime, she'll wake up, like I said, every 3 hours. I'll bring her to the bed. And then that time, like after like 2 days, that's when my boobs were getting rock hard. And I can feel. And I was actually leaking with milk. And I was like, oh, no. Like, Isabel, let's go. And I was producing a lot of milk. Thank God. So I'll bring Isabel, breastfeed her, and burp her, and there's even times she'll fall asleep on my boob, like fall asleep, and I'm like, little girl, I gotta burp you. So I'll just burp as best as I can, and then I'll change her diaper right there as she's sleeping, then I'll just pass her back to her bed. And that's how it was all the time. She was a really good baby. She wasn't screaming, like crying like that, like so severe, you know. She was a good baby, very good baby. That's one thing I like about her. She'll just drink and then she'll just fall asleep. And that's mainly when I gave her, you know, my breast milk. She's just stay like, you know. But yeah, Isabel was great, and then, you know, growing as her getting bigger and bigger, there's a lot of challenges going on, you know. It's not easy, you know. I experienced a lot with her, a lot, when it comes to the nosebleeds all the time. She broke out in a bad high rash from her forehead to her feet because she had a cold. It was really bad. Like, there was a lot of stuff that we experienced, and I'm like, whoa. And it's like back to back, boom. So now, you know, her tooth came out. Her first little tooth from the bottom came out, and that was like a new experience for me. I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't like things when it wiggles. And I'm like, I cannot take your tooth out. Like, someone else is gonna have to do that, because it does something to me. Like, oh, I can't see that. I can't. So, yeah, her tooth came out, and then my mom like took it out. It was just right there, 1 second, boom, it came out. But yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot. It's a lot of stuff that happened. She was a baby, a lot of challenges, and wasn't easy. I was like still emotional wreck even after, but yeah, I pulled it through. I can definitely say that. Would I want another kid? I really don't want another kid, guys. I don't. Like, I'm